Hey, hey, what do you say, Beat Baseball World? Welcome back to the Beepball Blues Show with NealDawg and Bam Bam. First episode of 2023. Happy New Year, Seth Dog.
Happy New Year, Neil Dog. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm hanging. Kind of getting tired of being locked inside with all this rain all the time.
Oh man, just go outside, man. The rain won't hurt you. People have been going outside in the rain for quite a long time, man. And they're okay.
I don't have them now, but I have babysat my neighbor's two young, energetic, crazy dogs twice over this last month. And both times, I mean, I've got a pretty good backyard, a pretty good sized backyard, as you know. And having like the dogs, it's easy to just take them out, let them run crazy, burn off all that energy. Each time I had them for like 3, 4 days at a time, it is rain, cats, and dogs, and I'm just stuck in the house with these two maniacs all the time. So,
Oh, I have the same thing about dogs. Dogs can go out in the rain as well.
yeah,
I know a lot of people don't think that, but they actually all that furry stuff they have around on their bodies, man, that helps them in the rain, man. It's pretty cool. It's
are you
pretty
sure
cool.
of this, or is it just the way you feel?
No, I'm pretty sure of it. I've seen dogs in the rain in the past.
They've lived.
Yes, and they've made it through. They've made it through. So,
You've been coming around me for like 30 years. I don't have my own dogs right now, but pretty much the whole time I've lived here, I've always had my own dogs. And if you remember right, my first two, Bud and Kahlua,
yes, they
oh,
were
they were
outside
always
dogs.
outside. I was not. All my dogs since then have always lived in the house, but I guess I bought into that same thing as you, man.
Yeah,
I left them out, but
it's true. It's true.
I feel bad about that. I'm not like you.
Ah, they're
I feel.
dogs.
I wish I could go back and be a better doggy daddy for Bud and Kahlua.
Have them come in and lay it by the fire and all that. No, no, they were fine. They were as happy as they could be, Neil Dog.
Oh, you don't know that part.
I do, I
That
do.
part you don't know.
I remember you yelling at them, be quiet, be
Yeah.
quiet. They're out there having fun, Neil Dog. They supposed to be able to do that in the house. Yeah, so come on, man.
Man, as we start 2023, I couldn't help it but pull out my 1993 Sacramento Thrashers. I forgot the name of our team in '93.
I thought you were going to say Kings. I was like, man, what happened to the Kings in 1993? Did they win a championship that I don't remember or something like that?
I have on my 1993 Sacramento Thrashers jersey. I'm rocking it too, baby. Still fits.
Ooh.
The only year the Thrashers ever played at the Beat Baseball World Series, finished fifth. It's funny. I think back about like there's a lot of teams that have never finished as high as fifth, and we finished fifth with that team, and I considered it a total disaster, like a kind of a failure on my part. I was the head coach of that team, and I'm not proud of the coaching job I did.
Big day today, Neil Dog. You know the House of Representatives are trying to elect the speaker. It's a riveting TV, Neil Dog. So
yeah, I've heard your TV in the background for the first time. I wondered why that was.
It's like, yeah, come on, man. I can't believe I'm missing this. I'm missing people call out votes and stuff like that, man. But
you're not missing a single thing.
Well, that's true. That's true. I did in my sleep miss that. The train just told me that DeMar Hamlin just woke up today. So
man, I didn't.
That
I have kind of wanted. It is good. I mean, thumbs up for that. You know that I didn't know if we wanted to go down this road or not. That whole situation remind me so much of what happened with you in 2006. Like that very night. For people that don't know, in spring of 2006, Seth, you had a seizure, and the paramedics, when they were taking care of you, were worried about your breathing, tried to stick a breathing tube down your throat, and the way whatever went wrong stopped your breathing. Your heart actually stopped. That's why we have mentioned sometimes we talk about you before death and after death, because that's no joke. Your heart was down for nearly 2 minutes, and then you were in a coma for like four days, I think.
3 days. 3 days.
Yeah. So while we waited, we had no idea luckily when you came back, it's only like half of you had brain damage,
Right, exactly.
But no, when they said that like his heart had stopped and all that stuff, like, man, I had such a strong deja vu from what we went through with you. I'm sure you more than I.
I you know the you know it, I don't have any real memory of it, but my mom said that she was having strong deja vu.
Yeah, heck
that.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, since I've been getting reports from them, I'm like, you know what I mean? When the little reports are coming out about that, I was like, gosh, man, this is so much like
right.
what we went through with Steph, man. So good. I'm glad he's awake. And glad you woke up too, even though you frustrate the crap out of me half the time.
Woke up both times, man. Woke up for the show, woke up then, man. I'm here, NealDawg. Might be a little late, might take my own path, man, but I get here, NealDawg. I get here.
All right, man. Let's bring our guest in. I'm gonna wait until a little bit before we talk about why he's here. But we got a friend of ours, Rinnessy Zee. Big Ren, come on in. What's up, brother?
What's going on with y'all, man? Thank you. Thank you for this this moment, man. I feel honored and privileged to be here.
Oh, you see, finally somebody who knows how to come on to the damn show, NealDawg. Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
Seth is very touchy about people not talking till they're introduced, man.
Well, at
you
least
did a good job.
And he said the right things. He's honored and privileged to come on to the show, man,
I mean, it's always an opportunity, though. Like, and I don't think anybody should take that lightly. Like, when you're invited into someone's home, so to speak, and this show is you guys' home. You built this brand.
That's my home. Seth is a guest also. Make sure you understand that.
Well, you know, I'm a guest. So I'm not going to insult him.
I didn't mean it anyway.
I'm the lesser familiar guest. So,
hey, let me ask you, Ren. Ren's gonna be helping out the show. We're gonna dive in. We're mostly just in this first show of the year, just addressing things we're going to be doing with the show going forward, whatever, and we're going to explain what Ren's here for a little bit later. But Ren, man, you know, our man Dr. Clark over there, that's the college history professor now.
That is me.
And I consider all professors to be in a situation where they're kind of like offering positive role modeling to young folks. But
Right.
You had a chance when you were just a teenager growing up as a newly blind man. I believe newly blind.
Yeah. Well, I was
you had a chance.
newly diagnosed. I was newly diagnosed.
All right.
Yeah.
And we'll dive into that and find out, you know, your like story. We always do that with our guests. But you had a chance the first time you ever met Seth, it was as a teenager. What kind of mentoring influence did this man have on you?
And you know what? It was crazy too, because I was newly diagnosed. Just to, you know, we touched on that again. So I was newly diagnosed, and I was, you know, trying to come to grips, trying to process it mentally.
Right.
And they were like, in the future, your vision's gonna transition at some point. So, and I was like, you know, trying to come to grips to that. Then my VH teacher, she had this idea. I don't know how she knew Dr. Clark here, you know, at the time, but she said, I'm gonna bring him over to your school. And, you know, and she was like, you know, he's made well for himself. He's in college. He's doing this and that. I was like, oh wow, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you start to lose. You know, you get diagnosed as a teenager, a young teen. You're like, man, you begin to get a little discouraged. You know what I mean? Like
whatever the age is, like going like from, you know, what I guess would be called a normal world into this little teeny tiny little blind world that nobody ever knows about until they find their way.
Everybody step over it like a piece of lint, right?
Yeah. But way to put it, too.
And
It's
they do, man.
honest. But no, I mean, it's a lot. It is a lot to take in, man.
So when she actually brought him, so she, you know, she talked him up, and yeah, he was who she said he was, and you know, he was positive, and man, she was, you know, he had told me, we had this conversation. He was like, yeah, man, you know, and I can't remember verbatim, I can't give you that, you know, but he had some encouraging words for me, like, hey, man, you know, it was like you know, be encouraged and, you know, stay on my path. And I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines. And like, no, but it was very encouraging. I needed that.
Oh, glad, man, really glad to do. I remember when we ran into each other years later. It's like, man, I remember that.
Yeah. Right.
I remember
Right.
that. Well, no, you were one of my first, man.
Right. Yeah, man. And then after that, you've gone on to touch so many other lives, man. So that's magnificent. So, you know, and you know, as a college grad, a dual degrees, you know, I can attribute that to Seth Dog right there, you know. Good pat on the back, man.
Look at Red with the education, man. There you go.
And look, he still was on my top about, like, even later on as a grown man, he's like, hey, man, you know, you might want to go back to college and get that PhD, you know, don't stop there. And I'm like, oh, man.
Dr. Ren, man, Dr. Ren, it did wonders for Dr. Dre, man. Get that doctor.
now, which Dr. Dre we talking about? Because you remember the Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps. I think he just went blind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, interesting enough. So that Dr. Dre, and I forget the other guy. From the, remember there was like on Yo MTV Raps, but anyway, that Dr. Dre.
Any idea what you're talking about?
Yo,
not because it was raps. I don't know anything about MTV.
Yeah, right. No.
So there was Dr. Dre, and then there's DOCTOR Dre. So the one who spells his name out, that's the guy from Yo MTV Raps. But yeah, he lost his vision like not too long ago.
Kind of ironic. And then we threw that into the twist. Talk about education.
It fit. It did fit.
Yeah, right. It was perfect transition, man.
Yeah.
Talk about education, man. Ren and I just had a long conversation about education, and he was saying how, you know, can't really depend totally on the public school system. I was like, man, I can't blame it on public school system because I just was an unengaged student most of my life. I'm not proud of that. That's just the way I was growing up. And he had a wow moment as we were talking about like geography, and I was telling him something like that I didn't know or something. He's like, wow. It's like, dude, you can't wow me right in my face. Wow me. It's like, wow, this brother is dumb, man. I've hurt my feelings if I have.
No, I think it came out wrong. I think
everything always does when it's insulting.
It came out wrong, man.
He's like, oh, wrong. Man, I didn't mean to say it like that.
Right.
Wow.
Who knows? I might have been like, wow, he didn't know that either. I might have been struggling with it too. Like, huh?
All right, let's knock out a few things. Let's circle back, do some show related things, tell y'all what we're going to be doing going forward also, and then we're going to dive on, and that's related to why Ren's here, how he's going to be helping us out. We'll dive into all that. First thing I want to do, Seth, is circle back to our last episode, the Jeopardy game, because it came out. Not that anybody has proof of anything, I don't think. Well, I shouldn't say that, because if they ain't got proof, it didn't happen. Well, I guess
if they ain't got proof, it didn't happen.
Well, Demetrius Morrow and Richard Schultz believe that we were off on when the count went from 2-5 to 1-4.
And how long have Richard Morris and Demetrius Morrow been playing?
They weren't around that long, but the reason
they like 5 years into the sport, man. Yeah, they don't know nothing. Come on, man.
The reason they question is because there have been old championship games put up on YouTube. One of which being, oh, you know what? I never started our recorder. I mean, this video could be downloaded and we could still, we're still going to be able to put it up on YouTube, but it just hit me that I never started the recording. Oh, well. I mean, officially we are recording. I keep hearing my phone buzz, and I'm thinking, man, maybe something's going wrong, and the fellas are trying to reach out to me. I don't want to check it. I was like, in the end, we're recording it, so even if the live stream's not working, it just hit me. It's like, I never hit the record button. So we're just counting on the video now. I hope it's working.
Gotta be flexible, man. You gotta be able to roll with the punches, NealDawg.
That's what we are doing.
You do this so well. That's why I test you beforehand. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's why I throw you little things, little challenges beforehand, so you're ready to go once the lights are on, man. It's all good.
Excellent.
He's such a good mentor.
I try, man. I try, man. Hey, try to use everything as a teaching moment, Ren.
Right,
everything is a teaching moment.
So Demetrius and Richard have watched what they're saying is the 1990 championship game, and like 35 minutes into it, it's actually our current president Jerry Wendell's up at bat, and he like goes to a 5-strike count or something. So like on that rule, I almost didn't use it because I was having a hard time. I can't remember exactly when it changed. Like you and I both think it happened right around like that 89 era or whatever time frame. I reached out to Dan Green. I reached out to Michael Garrett. I reached out to Jerry Wendell. Jerry started pitching in 1989, and he believed he always pitched with the 1-4 count. He reached out to his ex-wife, Karen Wendell, NBBA Hall of Famer. She started playing in 89. She says she always played with the 1-4 count. I knew it didn't start in 88, so I was like, man, we're good. But I don't remember.
Unless somebody then has sent you some sort of evidence or was actually around then, I don't think it's an issue.
Well, I'm not. Nobody has actually gone out publicly and said we were wrong and said no. It was this year when it changed. So I'm not going to lose sleep because nobody guessed the right year, anyways. I don't think. Yeah, right. But I don't. So I don't think it changed the game. But I did try to be accurate with everything. Anyways, I told Demetrius, like, one thing that confused me was like Jerry Wendell having an at bat in the 1990 game. Jerry was pitching at that point. Like we played them in 1990. He did. We played them in the 3rd place game, and he never got an at bat. I questioned whether or not that was actually the 1990 championship game, but Demetrius never got back to me. So I'm assuming if it wasn't, he would have got back and said, you're right. So I don't know. So I just wanted to say it's possible that we got that one rule wrong. And I almost used another rule because I just couldn't get confirmation on that. But I also couldn't think of another good rule that could have been put in there. I did later, but I couldn't ahead of time. So that's that. Anyways. Any other thoughts on Jeopardy other than, one thing I realized after we did that, there's 2 things I hate. One is game shows, and 2 is you sometimes.
I don't know why, man.
Because you're zero help, and you're the only one that understands the game.
I am 100% help, man. I'm here to help you, man. I said I would actually host it once to show you how it's done. You know what I'm saying? But I try to be helpful. How did I mess up? How did I mess up? How did I do? Always blame the black man. You see how it is? All right. For your own failures, blame the black man. See, Ren, you're lucky you ain't here, man. He'd be on you too, like it was your fault.
I'm pleading the 5th on that.
Yeah, right. Like it was your fault, man. Like I did something wrong, man.
Anyway, I would defend all that, but you would still just deflect it.
Oh yeah, Hey, I gave you we had the point values wrong, so we're learning all these new things, man. Hey, it's a process, NealDawg, that we're going together. And like I always tell my kids, the kids I coach, it's all about what you do next, man. That's all we care about. What you do next, man. Next rep, best rep, NealDawg. So
fair enough. Speaking about what we'll do next. talk about the changes with the show. So going forward, we will be recording the show the way we did the Jeopardy game and the way we are today. We're just gonna come on, do it live on Facebook. We're still Frank Porter still going to be taking the videos and putting the music on them, and we'll slap it up on YouTube. But man, our beat baseball community, as small as it is, has always been Facebook friendly, and it's never really switched over to YouTube. Back when I started this show and was only doing it on Facebook Live, man, by the time we switched up, Seth, and when I was able to bring you in and we started doing it on YouTube, like I had been getting, for most of the shows, like 200 or better views. And then as soon as we switched to YouTube, we dropped down like 25, 35, 40 views. And, you know, we've over time worked that up to where a lot of our stuff usually gets, especially during the season, gets up in the hundreds or what, you know, over 100 views, whatever. But it's never been as well received on YouTube as it is on Facebook. And proof of that was when we recorded it live, the Jeopardy game live on Facebook. I mean, the last time I checked that had like around 200 views, and the YouTube video only had like 25, maybe 30 views. So I don't know. Our beat baseball world does a lot of Facebook Live stuff, streaming the games, all that. And it just seems to be what our people want to do. And I think it's better for our audience, for us to just record it live on Facebook like we're doing. We'll take the video and slap it up on YouTube still. And so we can hit the best of both worlds. But this is the way we're going to be doing it going forward. I guess that's it on that part. Other than shout out to Chris Jackson, Derek Keepers, Frank Porter, as always. They're helping us when we do the shows, getting it shared into Beepball Nation. Chris Jackson shares it there. Darren Keepers helps us get it into the Beat Baseball Network, and Frankie will put it up in Beat Baseball Central. So we'll get it shared around. Thank you. Thank everybody who's helping us, just contributing towards us getting it out. I know we're just reaching like a little tiny audience, but I appreciate the help everybody puts into helping us get there. Any thoughts on that, Set Dog?
No.
Be good. All right. So.
Go ahead,
I mean, more than anything, I was just seeing if there's anything I left out that you can think of.
No. And I was kind of I was trying to yell for
trade
for so I need another cup of coffee.
Chop, boy. Chop.
But he has evaded me, and so. But no, that sounds great, man. The only thing I don't like about the beginning of our live shows is that it gets us talking at the beginning. That's all. But that was just
talking before we start
the
actual show. You mean? Well, because we can't just sit here quietly while they are sharing, and I think there's no point.
Right. No, I hear you.
If we're not in, you know what I mean. If we're not in Beepball Nation, more than any other group, I mean, the other groups are smaller than Beepball Nation. If we're not Beepball Nation, we're not gonna have much of a live audience, anyways. Overall.
But once you hit it and re-listen to it, it still has the same thing.
It does, but this is a recording. That's why we're just recording it. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. That was the only thing that kind of tripped me out, because I clicked on one. You know, I don't always get a chance to listen to the show. And so I clicked on one, and it's like, oh man, all that stuff is still there. But I don't know what I was expecting. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. It's no big deal. I'm good. Trade in. I'm all good.
So distracted. Hey, all right.
Multitasker, NealDawg.
No such thing as multitasking. People need to understand.
Yeah,
no individual can do two jobs 100% at the same time.
Nobody said that you have to do it 100%.
Multitasking means those two jobs are each getting 50% of your attention. That's failure. Failure. Not one of your students is going to pass with 50%.
Well,
Period.
that's true, but
Period.
somebody might pass putting 50% effort in. I mean, school would prove that you have to multitask because you have my class, you have somebody else's class, you got somebody else's class.
But
You
you
got to do
don't
it
do
all
them at the
together.
same time. Multitasking means doing two things at the same time, and nobody does two things at the same time. I've
Like
been arguing with Steve Guerra about this for years.
it's funny
Every
because I'm doing the show and I just got got a cup of coffee in you know in the work. So I did two things at the same time.
In the end, this is my argument against multitasking, period. Not necessary. I don't consider making Trajan get you a cup of coffee, you doing a second task.
Well, it is. It's
That's
tough,
not
man.
multitasking.
It's
That's
tough,
you just
man.
bossing your kids around.
It's tough, man. I had to wait, get him down here, man. It's not. You don't think they just, I don't have them trained well enough, like where they just stand here and wait until they're needed. Ren, that's something you should do, man. You should instill that. Get them to stand there and wait.
Right. That
You
would be
know.
nice.
Yeah, right. Free labor. Free labor.
Ren's biggest problem, though, is his daughter is actually who's in charge at his house.
Yeah, yeah.
She when she came up with her stage name, she called herself Boss. So I was like, goodness gracious.
We're going to be talking about Ren's daughter. I hope is part of all this. But when I called Ren the other day, his third grade daughter, she answers the phone, and I haven't been in person with his daughter since she was a toddler, so she doesn't know me. So she's like, "Hello." I'm like, "Hello. Can I talk to your daddy?" She's like, "Who is this?" I was like, "Tell him it's his favorite devil." And she's like, "His favorite devil?" And just off that, Ren starts laughing in the background, So I know Ren's right there. He's laughing. And I was like, "Yeah, tell him it's his favorite devil." She's like, "Why would you say that?" I was like, "All right, maybe that's too much. Tell him his favorite." Ren's always called me D-Dog. So I was like, "Tell him his favorite dog's on the phone." She's like, "His favorite dog?" And so Ren just keeps laughing. I was like, "Could you just put your daddy on the phone?" Then she's like, "Well, my daddy's not home. I'm just here with the babysitter." I'm like, "I hear him laughing in the background. What do you mean?" She's like, "No, that's my babysitter." Put your dad on the phone. This dude has built a wall between him and other people using his daughter.
That's right. I'd have to have a little buffer right there.
Right. You got to make sure. Just because you're answering the phone, don't mean you can tell people I'm home.
Soon I'm gonna tell her to say, "Hey, that laugh is a recording."
Yeah, right. Just so people don't know she's a home alone,
right.
Man.
So we quite a while ago, and so it took a long time for me to connect with Ren. That's on me. But at one point, Seth had told me you would like a little mix, a little more of a mix with the music we use on the show. My good friend, longtime friend Bob Pierce, has been letting us use his music. My man's got like 20 albums out now. He's working on his 21st. For the first 20 years, he ran a band here in Sacramento called the Beer Dogs, and we use some of that music, and that's kind of rockish, rock blues, a little bit of funk. But then Bob moved to Texas like 15, 16 years ago, and he does now what is called Americana, which is kind of like a cross, I don't know, country blues and bluegrass, maybe. I'm not sure. But still, at one point, you're like, we do it specifically. I think it's your son Delaney said we need a little more black music on the show. And we both knew Yeah, well, yeah, you had. I mean, you told him to say it, but he said it. Not on the show, just to me.
Goodness.
I was like, good, man. He's getting the consciousness already. Man.
He didn't hesitate to say it when you told him to. He was very comfortable. It's like, you need more black music, Uncle Neil. It's like, all right, D. So finally got our man Ren has been doing music for a long time. And I've had a lot of it, and I've known without even asking Ren that I could use it, but I didn't feel right about that. I've owed my man a call for a long time. So, Ren, tell us, first, since you're blind and we do a show about blind folk, tell us about when you lost your sight and whatever, and then, dive into how you jumped into music and what you've been doing.
Well, I got fully, like, I got diagnosed with RP. Man, it had to be 13, may have been 13 when I got diagnosed. So prior to that, I grew up, when I say grew up, I got to, my teenage years as this guy with no impairment at all. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, in school, I started having these issues because they sat me in the back of the class. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you see how they be doing, brothers, man. And you was in the you was
right,
in
back
the
of the
hood,
bus,
man.
back of the class, man, all of that, right? Like, man, like, what's up with that? But so, but at first, like, if you had left it to my English teacher, she would have said it was just a behavioral problem and kicked it under the rug. Because I turned real disrespectful as a response. I didn't really know how to respond. I didn't know how to articulate the fact that, how many different ways can you tell somebody you can't see the board? And then she like, okay, so when you do see the board, because like it wasn't, my vision was going, so it wasn't, it was. So there were moments where it was sharper than some days. So when I did it, I aced my work. She was like, you're just lazy. So my response is to come in like, oh no, you're just a bitch. It was like that. So you're just being hard. And literally I called her that multiple times. And it wasn't good at the time, but
no.
But anyhow.
Compounding a problem.
Right, exactly.
Talking past each other though. But go ahead.
Yeah, but no, so at that point, just to fast forward, it, of course, all that behavior ended up getting my mom involved. And my mom got very proactive, and and I told her I just can't. I'm struggling to see the board, and she like, really? I'm like, yeah. And I said, and she goes, because they were arguing with her, like, no, ma'am, he can see that, and I'm like, how they gonna tell me what I can see? But my mom believed.
Hey, sighted people are real good at telling the blind what the blind is thinking, where the blind want to go, what the blind want to do.
All the time. I get that. To this very day, I get that. People telling me what I can do and what I can't do. I'm like, okay,
what you want to do. Yeah.
It helps me. It helps me hearing stuff like this, and I struggle with that. I'm not a dog in my family because they've done a lot for me and they've been willing to do a lot for me. But that's one struggle I have with quite a few members in my family is I like that because they've had like a blind sibling or whatever for 40 years. They think they're the experts on being blind sometimes when we're having conversations. Like, man, you guys know nothing about my world in the end.
And I would say it's probably like that on my mother's side of the family. On my father's side of the family, different conversation. Everybody. Well, some of the older people when I was young, they used to say, "Hey, just wear your glasses. Put your glasses on." I'm like, okay, if it was that,
clean shoes.
And I'm thinking like, if it's that simple.
Shoes.
It is that simple, man. You think any blind person wouldn't put on a pair of glasses? For real. So everybody's gonna rebel against glasses. Yeah, we want to be like this. We want to be not that. No, I don't want to see. I don't want to see that.
Did your thing with music start before or after you lost your sight?
Kind of a little bit of. I guess I can say it probably maybe simultaneous. I'm saying it probably was at the same time because like, I come from a musical family. I do. Like a serious musical family, and it's crazy because I'm running into like later on I end up learning some other people, established musicians who are actually relatives would be, and I'm just like, well, I didn't even know. That's crazy. But no, it was simultaneous. So I had this interest in music, and at the same time, and but you still talking about a young guy who's diagnosed, contact lenses, correctable vision.
Yeah, you got other things going.
Yeah, so at that point it was like, I hadn't fully accepted it because it was nothing really inhibiting me from still seeing.
No,
like
hold
what I
on.
needed.
Can I just take you back to your story? You were saying that it was your mom, though, arguing
Right,
with the teachers that got you to the
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
diagnosis.
I'm sorry.
right.
Where? Continue on to that. We got to the fact that they were, we were having a meeting in class and there was an issue. How do we get to the diagnosis? What did moms do?
So she ended up getting me connected with a VA teacher, a VH teacher, excuse me. The visually, I say VA like she's a drink. A visually, I think VH is like visually handicapped or something like that. Teacher.
Yeah,
Anyhow.
that's when you said it the first time. I was like, I don't think we use that anymore. I've heard somebody turn like resource teacher, VI. I don't even know what VI should
She
like.
might have been a VI. It might have said VI at the time, and I'm just over the years. I've been hearing people say VH, so I'm saying VH. I don't know.
Yeah, they said
I don't even
VA. Like
remember. I don't even remember what the hell she was, but she was
I
cool.
went into that world over 40 years ago, and they were saying VH then, like the visually handicapped teacher. But I don't think that's politically correct anymore.
Right. But so, whatever happened, whatever meetings my mom had, she ended up with this lady, and this lady, helped to turn me onto a bunch of resources, which is like my mom learned about an ophthalmologist, and that's when I went and got diagnosed. And then it came out. It was like, oh, bam. And then she was just like, he's good, he has this, when it came out, I had RP. It was like, she's like, this is something he's gonna live with. So we better start preparing him, for his life journey. Like she even like to this day, people always say, because I don't know any French or any Spanish, people are like, you didn't learn French or Spanish in high school? And I'm like, nah, man, like this VI teacher or VH teacher negotiated with the district for me to learn Braille in place of French or Spanish, and I got credit. She taught it to me. It's like it was just a class with me and her, and I ended up getting my high school credit for my second language.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm still not as proficient with reading it, but but I know the basics. I
wish somebody would have given me that. I wouldn't have had to sit in French 1 for freaking 3 years or whatever it was, repeating it.
Obviously, you knew her, but because she introduced me to you, but but she probably wasn't your teacher. I take that. How you met her, I don't know.
Right.
You may inspire her to be like, yeah, this guy don't know nothing. Let me get him this. I don't know, but yeah, that's it. That's it in short. You know what I mean? From and
so what's your vision like now? Are you total or are you?
No, I still have some usable vision.
Even though I've known you for like 10 years, I didn't know that till we talked whenever we were on the phone like 2 days ago or whatever. When you were talking about some of your usable vision, it's like, man, I never knew you had usable vision.
All right, usable vision.
It's funny because I don't want to bring a name up. I'm trying to think of how to say this guy's name without bringing his name completely in it, because I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't care.
Go ahead, put his name in there, man.
So,
come on, man. I try to tell Neil all the time. We need controversy on the show, man. Controversy drives ratings,
it's not going to be controversial, but I don't know if you remember Tim, right? Tim.
Yeah.
Oh, from Mississippi?
Right.
Yeah.
So Tim came out.
Pig of a person. Just for the record.
See, I didn't want to go there, but
why not?
No, I mean, because like honestly, we didn't like. I didn't have any beef with him personally, but it's just relative to the story, the usable vision thing. So one day, when he was visiting out here with some other friends, and he needed to go to the store. So I said, "Come on, man, grab my arm." And so we walked because we were trying to like we needed to be there by a certain time and get back by a certain time. He had a ride. They had a ride arranged. So we're walking real fast around there. He's like, "Hey, man." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you have a cane?" I said, "I don't." He's like, "Wow, and you're guiding me?" And he's like, "The speed we're walking right now." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Thank God."
If you walking around without a cane, man, you got more
No.
usable vision than I even realized.
Well, then.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
in the
yeah, all right.
last couple of years, it's transitioning quite a bit again. So, but I still have some. I'm hanging on to the little bit I have.
All right.
I mean, who knows? I may be hanging in the dark at some point.
At some point, right? It'll be all good. It all good.
Yeah.
Hey, jump into the water ain't that scary.
Right.
It always felt good. Looks a lot different from the outside than it does
Right.
from the inside, man. It's all right. You can do it.
It's not one of those things where you could just kind of like some people get into a pool differently. Some people just run and jump in. Some people like dip their toe down to see what the temperature is.
Some people sit at the edge and they scoop themselves in slowly.
Yeah, but this isn't one of those things, man. Might as well just jump on in because it's not gonna go the other way.
Right, and I'm comfortable in my skin now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm grown. I'm a father. And I've had I have the opportunity to travel doing my music and meet a lot of people, and I've accomplished quite a bit. So, and funny enough, I met a lot of people like face to face and work with a lot of artists that I didn't even know. Right. So we're doing music, we're sitting there in the same room, they didn't even realize. So it's funny. So
let's jump into that. Talk about your music, what you've done, where people can find it. We definitely, before we close up, need to talk about what your daughter's doing, a third grader who's got 6 singles out already.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you and what you've done in music, since we're going to be using your music, get people familiar with you and where they can find you.
Okay. So, I'm a hip hop artist who grew up in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area, and
you grew up in the Oakland Bay Area, man. What's up, man? You ain't
the Richmond Bay Area.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
For Sheezy.
Claim San Francisco. Come on now.
Well, no.
You're from the East Bay, man. You're from the East Bay.
So people say the San Francisco Bay. I don't know. I guess San Francisco and Bay Area are kind of synonymous. That's the way I've heard it described. So I say it just for that. But because sometimes when you say Bay Area, there's also a Bay Area in Florida. Florida is our cousin over there. They have a Hollywood, they have a Bay Area, they have Disney World, we got Disneyland. Those are our cousins. So
that's true.
We have to differentiate just so people don't say, "Oh, he grew up in the Bay Area in Florida." Nah,
even in the San Francisco area, though, it seems like because that's always just been referred to as the Bay Area, right? But it seems like they want to disassociate themselves from like Oakland and Richmond. Like that's the East Bay. Nah, that's not the Bay Area. That's the East Bay.
Well, here's a little. Now, funny enough, right? There's just certain cities that really just stand out, right, in terms of the Bay Area. But so geographically, do you all know how many cities there are in the Bay Area?
No idea.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on are you counting the greater Bay Area? I tend to think of the Bay Area as the part that touches the water. But people talk about Concord and all that other stuff being in the Bay Area too, which I don't really count. But so I don't know. So
if you look online and you say how many cities are in the Bay Area, it's 101 cities.
But that's got it. Like I'm kind of with Seth. I feel like it should really just be kind of centralized to like what's connected to the water or whatever. Like I think they're like considering like all the area north of San Francisco, east all the way to like Seth said, like Concord. You know what I mean? It's like all of that can't be the San Francisco Bay Area.
But I believe they classify like it's like over 1,000 cities in California. Oddly enough, right? So
no, people. I mean, people clearly call that Bay Area. I mean, I hear people call it the Greater Bay Area, but
the Greater Bay Area.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, people do call those other things, but if you don't have fog, you're not in the Bay Area. So,
right.
That's what I'm saying. But go ahead, man.
And that's how it is too. Like if you're not crossing a bridge to get to another area, because it's a lot of bridges in the Bay Area. You're crossing to
sure.
get to these regions. You cross over a bridge, you know, whether it be the I can't even name all the bridges. It's so
San
many.
Rafael, Bay Bridge, all
Right.
of them.
Right. The Carquinez, the Golden Gate. It's a lot of bridges out there.
Let's get off the geography and back to your music, though.
There we go. Okay. so yeah, man. So I just grew up, and I grew up like learning, you know, about music and learning. I mean, I guess I would say I guess for hip hop, I would say, you know, influenced by some of the early sound that was here, you know, and oddly enough, I ended up meeting a lot of the rappers I grew up listening to their music, and some of them I even work with like later on, but you know.
Well, none of these fools will know anybody you're really talking about, but who influenced you out of the Bay Area that you model your music on?
So one of my favorite rapper probably from the Bay Area was Mac Dre, R.I.P. to Mac Dre, Andre Hicks. And I did actually have an opportunity to record with him and release something with him. So that was like, for me, that was big. And like Mac Dre didn't really get his.
Isn't he you have a song called Call Me Rinnessy or whatever? Isn't he on that one?
No, he's actually on a song called Bopper. I'm not proud of that name, being a dad now.
I didn't know what you meant until you just said that.
Well, you know, it was a term they used in the Bay Area a lot to describe the motion of the head.
Don't even go down that rabbit hole. We'll just leave it. We'll just leave it at you're not proud of that anymore.
Right. I mean, I'm proud of the collaboration.
Yeah.
Just not of the subject matter much anymore. You know what I mean?
I've heard it.
Gone through. No, I was just saying, rap has gone through different stages in its development. Yeah.
It definitely has.
And we all, as people, have to grow up a little bit sometimes. So
yeah, exactly.
We all evolve. I don't know. I know I've heard something. Was he on that Genius album?
No.
Because I know I've heard him with you before, but I don't have that song you're talking about.
This is prior to the Genius Funk project.
All right.
Yeah, this is prior to that. The Genius Funk project, we talking about 2020s. So that's
in the end, I've just trying, because I know I've heard you do a song with the artist you talked about.
Right.
But I don't remember hearing the song. I don't have the song you're talking about, so I don't know where I heard that. But who knows?
I mean, and, you know, I don't mind sending it to you. It just again, I'm proud of the collaboration, just not the subject matter. You know, as a father.
No, that's fair.
So
that's fair.
So it's not one of those songs I really promote, and I have a few songs like that. So as I'm telling you about my story, you know, I'm dragging my feet a little bit about it, because I'm like, you know, some of these were proud moments then, but you know, we all transition. You know, you go from a boy to a young adult, from a young adult to a fully grown man, and you know what I'm saying. So now I'm a fully grown man. I'm a father. My daughter is looking. You know, soon she'll be. You know, because this podcast will end up somewhere on the web somewhere, and she'll hear it, and then this will prompt her to do some research, and I'm like, I don't really want to give her the roadmap to some of this stuff, you know, but she will find it at some point, you know, I'm sure, if she becomes a hip-hop historian like her dad, because I study music.
Oh, good. You know, maybe I could we'll have to talk. You know, I'm going to do a couple lectures on hip hop in one of my African American history classes. Maybe I'll bring you in to talk to the folks, Ren.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey, man, we'll talk about that. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's do it. Now, and I'm like, so in short, yeah. So I released like a total of like 6 projects myself, and then some quite a few singles.
So are you a rapper? Are you a DJ? Are you a producer? What do you do?
So I do everything. And even like it's more widely respected now to be like, the rappers now sing, and and people appreciate it now. It's appreciated on a different level. But so I'm a keyboard player, so I produce, I rap, and I've sung like hooks and things like that for people's songs. So I've always had the ability to sing too. So I've done all of it. And, but I kind of played down the other. Like I played down producing and I played down singing. For one, I never really wanted to, because then like I would say like in the early 2000s, it would kind of water your brand down. You were like, oh, he's a singer trying to rap, or he's a keyboard player trying to rap. So I was like, no, I'm a rapper. I'm a rapper first who can play, or I'm a rapper first who can sing. So it was, now you can be all of these things, and we in a whole different era and time right now where people appreciate music differently.
Let me give you a little taste of them right now. I know this never sounds great, but while I got it queued up, of course it doesn't work. Here we go. There we go. I can't let it go too long because our man likes bad words in this particular song.
We can't hear it very well.
You can't even hear it. All right.
Not very well.
Oh, if that made it out. Hold on. Can you hear that?
I couldn't hear it, but it's probably good.
Nah, man. It's so weird. It's something to do with my microphones. Like sometimes when I play music, it comes across clear, and other times it just won't. I thought that, for a second you get a little taste.
No, I mean, I think I heard his voice in the background, but it doesn't like pop through as clearly as you pop through or whatever. So.
Yeah, fair enough. I realized though playing the beginning of it why I thought this had Mactivity on it, because the guest that you did have at the beginning, he's like, oh, Mactivity raised a monster, so that's why I had Mactivity in my mind with this particular song.
Yeah. So Mactivity Productions is my Productions is my company. So
there you go.
But very very much inspired by Mac Dre. The whole the Mactivity, Mac Dre thing. So he inspired that many years ago. I don't even know if many people even correlated that. You know what I mean? Because I never just like, this is probably the first show I ever put that out there like that. So,
a very creative name too. Like
yeah.
With all your, because I know some of these projects you did, a while back or whatever. Like how much can people find your stuff through like Apple Music and stuff? I kind of cheat. I cheat.
No, it's on every platform. It is. And actually, funny enough, it's been on every platform for years. From Apple Music to Amazon Music to Spotify to whatever wherever you got a subscription, whether it's Deezer, it's a bunch of.
There's some I don't even know. And I'm kind of lame. I just go with the one or whatever. You know what I mean? One service. I don't need multiple. Although then you run into it's like play blah blah blah. It's like that's not on here. It's like boo, gotta go pay another service just to hear a song. Tell people how to look for you to find your music.
Okay, so just you could just probably the go-to place for anybody is going to YouTube. You know what I mean? So that if you don't have any,
what search term should they? Yeah. What search term should they put in?
Right. I was getting to that.
Sorry.
So you just type. No, it's all good. So yeah, I was just prompting people because people be like, I don't have this, I don't have that. So you just go to YouTube, type in Rinnessy, Rinnessy, Rinnessy.
Rinnessy.
And I'm the only Rinnessy that's there.
Is that because you're from Tennessee or you like to drink Tennessee?
Neither.
No, I'm not from Tennessee.
I've never known our man to drink.
Rinnessy is like how does one DJ say it? He said you're Rinnessy because you red Kool-Aid and Hennessy.
Okay. It's just like, man, that sounds like Hennessy, man. What's up with that, man?
I've always thought it was actually Rinnessy Zee, like the letter Z is a last name.
Yeah, Z is the last name. That's it. So that's
Rinnessy
but
Zee.
but I created I created a song called Rinnessy Zee. And it was a play on the whole for Sheezy for that, and it worked because that was something I was like, it was Bay Area and had that, so it worked, So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna turn this into a song and just kind of put it close together. Rinnessy Zee, like it's Rinnessy Zee. You'd say it like that, and it just sounds hip. So yeah, that's it.
And would that be the same? I know you said like YouTube's the easiest, but like with Apple Music and stuff like that, it's same thing. Search Rinnessy.
You just search Rinnessy, Rinnessy, or if you want to hear some of the more recent music I was doing, it was
just go transition to.
It's a collaboration album I did with three other musicians. Two guys, their music actually grew up on their music, so they're from my hometown. Your boy Black Ice, aka your brother Black Ice, I grew up on his music, and then Ronald Porter of a group called Society's Creation. So I grew up listening to them, and then later on was able to, I don't know how, we end up crossing paths, but anyway, we established a brotherhood, and we ended up doing a project together, also with a Russian producer named Breeze, so who actually lives in Russia. So we actually did this. We did this Genius Funk project, which I'm talking about. We did this project remotely. So we all record. Mm-hmm.
I know it's been going on somewhat for quite a while now, but that is kind of a cool thing about music now. Like you don't have to get two people in the same studio to collaborate on something. You know what I mean? Electronically, right. You could put stuff together like this from anywhere now.
Man, a project like the way we did this project in the time frame we did it, if this had been something I know we'd have touched in the early 2000s, and even if you go back to like the 90s, God forbid the 80s.
Man, whoa, that's the golden era.
No. And I don't mean that as an insult, because I'm a hip hop historian. I mean, and that wasn't disrespect. I'm just saying, God forbid the 80s, because the way people were recording at the time.
Right.
So I'm just talking about the technique. So if we were trying to accomplish this, sending like, what were they using, like reel to reels and stuff like that? Man, that it just I don't know if the project would even came to fruition. It may not have. It may be so. It probably would have took 10 years to do it. Like, okay, we did our parts, and then let's mail this thing over to Russia.
Snail mail it to Russia.
So now technology, played a big part in how we were able to get this thing completed. Now I respect where we came from, and I respect my hip hop forefathers. Man, I respect them.
Some of you younger people, don't always give the proper respect. But that's why I got to have you come talk to the class, because I don't know anything about rap after '93. Rap died after '93.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
After Wu-Tang came out, rap died, man.
Don't say that.
I'm sorry.
I would say rap just transitioned. And so for me, I love it's even like some of the music is even different than the music I'm used to hearing, but I've grown to appreciate it and accept it, because rap, it's something that's going to evolve. Like my daughter is rapping. My daughter is 9, and the style of music she's doing is different from the style of music I did, which, like, man, and funny enough, her numbers are through the roof.
So how did that come about?
Hold on. I definitely want to dive into that. But first, I want, because you mentioned the collaboration, which is Genius Funk.
Genius Funk.
Is that the name of the group and the album?
So we did. Yeah. So the album is Genius Funk, and the group name is Genius Funk. And it wasn't gonna. So Genius Funk actually came from a classification. Like like the music I did, the music your brother Black Ice did, the music Ronald Porter did, and the music Breeze was doing was all like like people from overseas really respect a lot of the golden era sound of music. So
Right.
that music we were doing, some of us were doing, even like individually as solo artists, they classified it G funk. So since and G actually represented gangster funk, but since none of us did gangster rap, we weren't classifying ourselves gangster rap. It was a spin on G. The G is genius
We
funk. So
educated rappers.
right. So that's where that came from. It's like yeah, we'll appreciate that classification, but we have to put our own spin on it.
Yeah.
No,
So I mean, we're going to be using some of the music from the Genius Funk album. So I just wanted to make sure we got that name out there, and that's something else people can that can also be found in all the usual spots, Apple Music, all that stuff.
Yep, definitely.
All right, so everybody, go check that out. I actually, there's a lot of cool jams on there that I would love to use as part of the show, but I was talking to you already that we need more of an instrumental version of them for them to fit into what we're doing. But there are some cool jams on that Genius.
And I'll reach out to Breeze. So Breeze is like he's a Russian producer who lives in, I want to say, yeah, he's in Siberia, Russia to this day. I've never met the man face to face, but he's an incredible musician. Like the music from guitar work to the bass, dude's serious.
Yeah. Gotta be a producer, you know what I mean? To produce stuff, you kind of got to have a feel for the whole enchilada, you know what I mean? You got to know everything, all the ingredients going in.
And he mixed and mastered the project, so even the quality of the project, I'm like he's serious. He is serious.
Yeah,
musician.
it's clean. It's clean. It's really
serious
clean.
musician. So we recorded our parts. A lot of it we came up with the concepts and stuff like that. But essentially we sent it all over to him, and he put all the pieces and made. He put the pizza together. He took all the ingredients and slapped that pizza together and threw it in the oven. So.
All right, and then Seth had just asked about your daughter's project that you're very much behind. Boss Tootie, Tootie is our artist name. So go ahead and answer Seth's question about how that all came about.
So one day, because I still do features for people, right? So people will reach out and say, "Hey, Ren, can you put a verse on this, or can you sing this hook?" So now technology is so well. I don't even go out to a studio anymore. We just do everything here. I have a lab here at the house. So one day I'm in there recording, and she comes in. She says, "Hey, Dad." I said, "Yeah." She said, when am I gonna get the opportunity to tell my story?" So I'm like, "Your story?" And funny enough, one of the songs I was recording, shout out to Griffin Stein, a Bay Area rap legend. I was doing a verse for him, and when my daughter came in, and so what I did was I said, "Hey, here you go. I got something for you to do. Let's jump on here." And actually, you know what? I'm probably telling it wrong in the wrong sequence, because she had established her name and all of that. But that's one of the songs she ended up coming in, and I think that happened later. It's part of it is a blur, but anyway. So she did tell me at that point. Maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself. She said, "Dad, when am I going to come up with get my story? Be able to tell my story?" And then it was like a couple of days later, I was in the kitchen cooking, and she walks in. She said, "Hey, Dad." I said, "Yeah." She said, "I have a rap name." I said, "Yeah." What you got? And she like, "I'm gonna call myself Boss Tootie." And I was like, "Wow." So when she said Boss Tootie, I was impressed, because I'm like, she wasn't there calling herself Young Tootie, Little Tootie. You know what I mean? She like out the box. She was thinking like,
I'm in charge.
Boss.
I'm in charge here. So, which I know to be true in that household.
So at some point, I was recording again, and that's the shout out to Griffin Stein. I was recording something, and she came in, and she was like, "Hey, Dad, can I record?" And I ended up putting the headphones on her. So the very first song she ever premiered on was Griffenstein's. He has a song called Burden, and it's on every platform too. And she's just really saying her name, and she does the part of the hook with me. But I just sent, like, I didn't know how he was going to receive it when because he reached out to me to get the verse, and I sent it back to him, and he got these extra vocals with her, but he liked it and he used it. And he kept her on the song. So, and then there was another guy. Breeze was working with a guy named Boba out in Russia. He was working on a project called The Message, and kind of the same thing was I was redoing a verse for him, and she at this point she's watching me, closely. So when I'm recording now, she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go in there and see what he's doing," and so same thing happened. She ended up jumping on the song. I allowed her to jump on the song, and I sent the vocals out to him, and he kept them on the song. So I knew at that point, I was like, she wants to do this. So we started working on her material. So
nice.
So last January, we premiered her first single, which was called Daddy's Girl, and we've been recording her stuff since.
She made it on a local show here that's been in Sacramento now for like 30 years called Good Day Sacramento, which actually I'm fond of because they were very supportive when we hosted the World Series here back in 1999. They did a lot of promo stuff with us. You might remember NealDawg, like that Monday before the 99 World Series started, we had as a team, everybody was here at my house. We had to get up at like 5 in the morning to go out and do like a live shoot. Do you remember that?
Nope,
I mean, I can relate to that. The early thing, I can relate to that.
Yeah, no, we because their show at that time, I think it's a little longer now. Their show at that time was on from like 6 to 9. And so they wanted us to be ready, like playing beat baseball and doing live shots at like 7 in the morning, man. And not easy to get our group out there, but we did it, man. So I'm fond of that show. But they went out to Toots school on a total different mission. And the principal of the school's like, man, you could do this story. It's cool. But man, we got this little third grader who's pumping out music you should check out. And she ended up getting a whole section on Good Day.
She wanted to, shout out to her school. And my daughter loves her school. So one of her 6 singles, she recorded, and we released a single called Gator, Gator, spelled Gater Gator. So when people see that, they don't think it's a misprint or an error.
Little third grader doesn't know how to spell.
Right.
The Gater has something to do with her school, right? That's
right. The Curse Gator, right. That's part of the name. But they call themselves Home of the Gator. So she's so fond of her school, she wanted to do her own rendition of a school anthem. And that's exactly what we did. We sat in the lab, cooked up something special. She recorded it. I shot it out to a friend of mine. Like, I go the whole, like, it's crazy because we go the entire length for her. Like, I do press kits and emails and everything. Like, she gets the whole professional everything. So any of that, we recorded a song for the school. We got it mixed, mastered. And interesting enough, a 2-part to that is she just released a video for Gator Gator, of which part of that video we did footage in Orlando, Florida, at a theme park called Gatorland. So,
oh wow!
So,
you recorded some of that here in Sacramento, right? Or
yeah, we recorded part of the video here and then part out there. Yep.
Seth tried to get his 2 young ones to go out to the local one, but they were camera shy. They didn't want anything to do with it.
Are you just gonna bring them out?
I threw it out to them.
He wanted to.
They weren't down. My kids, I know how my kids are. They weren't gonna do that.
But I will tell you this, right? So when we do, because what we do, so Tia has, just to say this, so she has 6 singles out currently, and we actually are going to be shooting a video probably sometime this month. She have a new single coming out next month, if we get it out next month, called Just Like Magic. So we're gonna be shooting for that as well. So, but I'll let you know, because there's, and I only said that to say that there's a lot of kids that come out, and some of them don't always jump in front of the camera, but they appreciate the experience.
Right.
Because man, my daughter has transitioned to like a real artist. Like, it's funny. Like, I didn't coach her how to be an artist. Like, she'll transition like into a real rapper with the arm movements and everything. Like, she like when she got on Good Day, like the lady asked her if she would rap, and when she handed my daughter the mic, she just transformed like into an MC and grabbed the mic, and man, like for real, like a real artist.
Yeah, she owns it. That's nice.
But yeah, they're definitely invited. They just want to come out and get the Boss Tootie experience. We always appreciate any support.
So I assume her videos can be found on YouTube.
The video, yep.
Is it under Rinnessy or under Boss Tootie?
No.
Yeah, I ain't tracking.
She has her own brand, man. Right. Like her brand is going to eclipse mine, and I'm proud of that. You know, so yeah. But it's Boss Tootie, BOSSTOOTIE, and Boss. She has an acronym for Boss: business over silly stuff.
Look at her in third grade. I didn't even know what an acronym was. I still kind of don't.
Me, I'm learning too.
So kind of we're over an hour in, so kind of getting towards the wrap. I just want to kind of reiterate for everybody to look up Genius Funk. Check that out. Look up Rinnessy, RINNESSY. Check out Rinnessy and all the stuff he's done. Check out Boss Tootie, TOOTIE, and someone else's music, someone you've collaborated a lot with before and still do, and we'll be using his music also, is our buddy Sean Monster Mays.
Sean Monster Mays, right.
MONSTA, Sean Monster Mays.
Right.
I got that right?
MONSTAH.
I forgot the H. My bad.
If you don't put the H in there, no telling who you gonna put up.
True that.
But Monster, man, and of Monster, like, so not only does Monster Mays collab with me, and he's Monster Mays is also on the Genius Funk project. You can find him on there. He also did one of Boss Tootie's, probably the singles that's probably streaming the largest. It's called Step Slide, produced by Monster Mays.
All right. So we're going to be using as much of this stuff as this collaboration of people is going to let us. So really just wanted to get everybody familiar with you, Rennie, and so they they're looking you up when they hear stuff we play, if they dig it. And I hope just off the interview they go start looking your stuff up.
And I appreciate you guys. Again, I appreciate you guys having me on and giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely. Our pleasure. Kind of bringing everything full circle. Like I've got some text messages from Demetrius Morrow confirming that game was definitely 1990 that he and Richard saw. So we definitely were.
Tell him unless he can send some sort of footnote or endnote or citation, it don't count.
Well, I think you just told him. Clearly, he's listening live.
Okay.
If
you can't cite it, man, then it didn't happen, man. And we're still right with 1989.
That's the college professor thing. You can cite your source, man. You gotta cite your source.
Man. You can't just make stuff up.
Right.
So.
What's funny about it is I created a new Zoom link for this year, or he would have just used the Zoom link. Right. He would have popped in on us live. Right. I'm gonna have to hold off for a while before we give Demo this link. All right, man. We've given enough show, and all my coffee has my bladder pressure, and so it's time to wrap things up. But Rennie, man, thanks for your time, dude. Thanks for letting us use your music. We appreciate it.
Man, equally, thank you as well again.
Hey, and Ren, we need to be in contact, man. Like I said, I do want to do something on hip hop, in this
Okay.
class, but I'm not. You know, I can do, like I said, through 93, but I start losing stuff after that.
I got you. I got you.
So,
I'm plugged in from about there to about, you know, probably up to about maybe 2018, which I'm familiarizing myself with a lot of the newer music now.
that's
Now that my
perfect.
daughter,
It ain't even real rap now, but no, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
I don't.
If you ain't
I
doing
try
it
to-
with 8 tracks, it ain't real rap. I'm sorry.
No, I just try to stay away. I try to stay away from that conversation.
I'm sorry. Neil's ready. Like, man,
Yeah.
I gotta
No,
get
I'm not.
We're
personally-
all gonna stay away from that. We're all gonna stay away from that conversation. Do you guys
And I'm
understand
not
what
personally
wrap up means?
offended, but you can offend people, and then you start lose, like, in terms of me promoting my daughter.
Yeah,
I don't want her to lose any
yeah,
potential.
Sorry. Yes, sir. I'm a dinosaur, man. You know, I still believe you should run the ball, kick the ball on 4th down.
All
But you know
right.
what? You know what, Seth Dog? I'm gonna send you some stuff. It's going and it's some newer stuff. It's gonna give you a different appreciation. I'm gonna,
Okay, you
like
do
some of the
that.
stuff that gave me a deeper appreciation for the newer music. I was like,
Okay,
wow.
you do that, man. You do that. All
I
right.
know you're a connoisseur. I know you're
I
a
am.
hip hop connoisseur. So
I do appreciate it. Just don't send me anything with what's that voice, whatever, the
Oh,
tutor, the automatic tutor nonsense, man.
Oh,
I don't need all that nonsense, man.
All right.
All right.
Slow
Okay,
things down. I don't even know what the hell you guys are talking about anymore.
Hey, we are
Stop.
trying to educate you. We're trying to
I'm
educate
not
you.
interested in
You know?
education. I've got 54 years of proving that.
Yeah, you know,
Not
like-
interested in being educated.
Like a rap song said, next time someone's teaching, why don't you get taught?
You know, something I think when I was talking about changes, we're going to be, maybe I said it, but we're going to be doing the show every other week for quite a while until the season gets going. I don't think I said that earlier, but we're just going to be doing shows every other week. Been in touch with John Margis. We're working on a Philly Fire show for 2 weeks from now. And we'll catch you then. So, man, thank you, Rand. Thank you, Chris Jackson, Darren Keepers, Frank Porter, for helping us out like you do. And always thank you, Seth Dog, for being here with me. And that's it. Because I think there's a higher chance that she'll hear it now, I'm going to go old school and say, good night, Aunt Cindy.